This is the setup for how we use a visual schedule with our little friends. And because we use floor time principles in our therapy, some people have asked how we use visual schedules in that floor time context. So I thought I would explain that here. Often when people make a visual schedule, they're quite prescriptive about it. They'll say, this is what we have to do first, then we have to do this, then we have to do something else. The reality is that often it doesn't need to be that prescriptive, and here's where the floor time principles come in. When one of our little friends turns up for their therapy session, they will typically come and sit down at the table. If they're one of our kids that does tabletop activities, they'll come and sit down at the table and they will already have a few picture cards out on the table. Now, these are activities that I have chosen as appropriate for this little person, but they get to choose which order they want to do them in, so they still feel in control of their session. Here's the visual schedule board that we're going to put them on. And as I'm filming this, I'm only just realising quite how old and ratty that's starting to look. Maybe I need to make a new one. But the child is going to come in and choose what they want to do first. So maybe they want to do balloons first. So they're going to pick up their picture card and they're going to place it up on here. We've got little pieces of Velcro stuck on the back here. So this is the hook side of the Velcro here, and we've got the loop side of the Velcro up there. So the kids will come in and choose, I want to do this first, then this, then this. And sometimes they need some support to do that. So they might get to this stage and we'll go, oh, okay, yeah, what are you going to do next? What are you going to do after the book? And they'll need a bit of support to choose the next bit. Sometimes they'll say to us, they'll choose a few activities and then they'll point to the other cards and say, I don't want to do these. Or they'll indicate in some other way, I don't want to do these. And that's a really valid thing for them to tell us, and that's really important for us to know. So where we can, we honour that and say, okay, that's fine, you don't have to do that. If it's necessary for whatever reason, we go, oh, look, I hear you, but we actually have to get that done. So let's get it done first and get it out of the way if we know that they're a kind of kid that really appreciates that format. Or we might put it in the middle in between two really favourite activities. Anyway, once we've made our visual schedule, then we start on our activities. So we try to work from left to right because that's how we read. This is some pre-literacy stuff. So we start on the left. This is what we're going to do first. And so we'll do our balloon activity, our first activity, whatever that is. Some kids need support with the transition phase. So we might set a timer either at the beginning of the activity and say, okay, we're going to do balloons for 7 minutes or however long it's going to be. Or we might set a timer closer to the end of the activity and say, okay, we've got 1 minute left. I'm going to set a timer. Then when the timer goes off, we say, right, timer's gone off. It's time for our next activity. So once we've finished with that activity, or the kids can tell us themselves that they have had enough of that activity and they want to do something different. We're going to come over and take this off. I've got a little box that I typically put these in, but it's not within reach right now. But we take it off and we say, okay, that's finished. What's next? And so then we look for our next activity. We'll go through that same process as far along as we go. Just be aware that some kids have to finish all of the activities. They get very upset if they don't. Other kids are fine with only getting as many done as they get done. So good luck with using virtual schedules yourself.